Today we are going to talk about, we have a very nice conversation which I feel that you are going to like, because we are going to talk how we can contribute and how we can just participate so that our church can move together. We can move together, all together, for just a common target. So I'm not going to be alone in this conversation. This conversation will be hosted by, of course, RW'IGITANGAZAMAKURU and Celestine Aula. But before we get into the core part of the conversation, allow me to introduce to you the guests of today. On my right, I'm with Jennifer Ingabire. Jennifer Ingabire, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
How do you feel now?
I'm happy to be here and thank you for having me.
All right. And also, thanks so much for accepting our invitation. It was actually on short notice. It is not so easy for many of senior managers, senior officials. It is not really usual, but you managed.
Yes, by the grace of God.
Thank you so much. Yes. We are going to be also with Onuki Godwin Ugochukwu. Is that correct? From where?
From Nigeria.
From Nigeria. You know this Omos, the superstar from WWE.
Called
Omos. Yes. You know him.
Right, yes.
Yeah, he's actually my favorite movie star, and of course WWE star. I like him so much, the Nigerian giant. Yeah, so we are going to be with this special guests in our today's conversation. They have a lot to talk about synodality, because they participated. I want to give you some key dates. When we talk about synodality, there are some key dates that are very important to know. So in 2020, it was on March 7th, Pope Francis announced the synod on synodality. That is the first time that we heard about this synod. But a year before, Pope had appointed Nathalie Beccal as consultor to the General Secretariat of the Synod of Bishops in the Catholic Church. And it was actually the first time that a woman was appointed to that position. Yeah, that was in May 24th, 2019. Then 2 years later, that was in February 2021, Pope again appointed Beccal, Nathalie, as an under secretary of the Synod of Bishops, making her the first woman to have the right to vote in the Catholic Synod of Bishops. Another key date is 10th October 2021. This is when actually His Holiness Pope Francis officially opened the synodal process. Right away, the synodal at the diocese level, it started. The diocesan phase actually started in 2021 till 2022. Then from that level, at continental level, that was the following phase, occurred from September 2022 till March 2023. The concluding phase is actually expected, or it started already, is ongoing from October 2023 and it will end in October 2024. Actually, this is the 16th Ordinary General Assembly of the Synod of Bishops, which is taking place in Italy. Another thing to know, very important, is that this is actually the first time that such assembly is preceded, which was preceded by a consultation of simple lay people. This is for the first time. That is to say, actually, for the two years, 2021, 2022, 2020, yes, 2023, 1.3 billion of Catholics were invited to express their views on the vision of the Catholic Church and on different matters related to the society. We are lucky today and blessed today because we are with those who participated. Among these 1.3, they directly participated in this consultation. So we are lucky enough because they have something to tell us, to share with us in our today's conversation. This Synod of Bishops, actually today, they reported that the participants were 464, but 96 of them are not bishops. 54 of them are women. This is also something which is very, very new. The theme for this synod is For a Synodal Church: Communion, Participation, and Mission. Hey, Jennifer, I kept saying new, quite new. And I think it was also quite new for you to be nominated, appointed as the chairperson of the commission in charge of this synod, right?
Yes, it was very new, and it was my first time to get such a big responsibility in the church.
Wonderful. Was it for the first time for you to hear about this synod?
Yeah, I used to hear about synod, but I had never been keen or really interested to know exactly what synod was all about until I was directly involved. So that after that, of course, now I understand what synod is all about. We did a lot of research. We did so much. It is a process that took us a whole year. We started in October 2021 and we finished in May 2022 at the parish level. So I heard about synod, but for sure I couldn't say that this is what synod is all about. I had no idea until the process started. Yes.
How was the election? They elected, or they simply said, okay, Jennifer is competent, we nominate her? How did it work?
I think for me, I was just directly appointed by our parish priest, Father Innocent Conservative, and when he was giving me the task, actually I didn't think it was such a big task. I realized, oh, it was such a big responsibility, but I had to do it anyway.
Okay. Godwin, actually the previous synod was about youth, to support them to easily facilitate their task of choosing their calling, and you are a youth, right? So when was the first time for you to hear about this synod for you, and where were you?
Okay, normally, even right when I was in Nigeria, the synod always goes on always, but due to most times and all the times it's being focused on bishops, like gathering of bishops, so lay people are not directly involved. So after the whole thing, we get to hear maybe the message from the bishops and to the parish priest. So it's not my first time to hear about synod, but like right now that maybe it is being focused, youth are being involved in it, so I start getting involved, I start being interested.
Yeah, Jennifer said that they started from the parish to, she just gave us a picture, the structure of how they started. How it worked in your country?
Normally, synod is also been it is an assembly of bishops. Normally, in my country, how it works is that during that time, the bishop, they have a special gathering. So we the lay people, we only get the message because after the whole process, the message is being given to the parish priest, which we then disseminate the message to the congregation.
So basically don't get involved.
Yes.
Just communicate what's
Currently, 27% of the participants in the synod of bishops actually are lay people. They are now allowed, they have rights, full rights to vote. What does it mean to lay people?
For me, it means a lot. It means that we've been given that value as lay Christians to participate in the decision making of our church. So it is something that really we should not take for granted, and we didn't take for granted. And we hope that after this synod, so many things are going to change, where the lay Christians participate in the decision making of the church, how the church should be in the future or in the years to come. Otherwise, before, we just get instructions from Rome, from the meeting of bishops. But now that it started this time with us, the lay Christians, I think it is paving a way that what I should call maybe democracy, that we are all getting involved. So I think it is something that we should really treasure and we should not take for granted. Yes.
Wow, and women are very represented in this synod, right? And I think you are happy about that.
Yes, I'm happy about that, and actually for us, there is no single segment of the church that was not consulted. The youth, the families, the children, the students, every single element, every single part of the Christians were involved and were contacted, and they participated directly. For sure, right now, I'm sure every single Christian in the church knows about the synod, because we went all the way down to the smallest units of the church. Yes.
Yes, before I just...
We even had prostitutes.
Oh,
We even
seriously?
had, yes, drivers.
How did you select them? How did you select them?
We went, of course, we
And
had...
they accepted willingly to come and be consulted?
Yes, we had to, of course, go down through the local authorities. We had to make sure that we reach all of them, because all those ideas have to come up. And I think it is important, and it was important that from whatever the feedback we got from them, is from where the decisions will be taken. Otherwise, if you leave all of them, most likely, or sometimes some important information or decisions will be left out. Yes.
Wow, good will. Yes, earlier I said that Natalie was appointed, and according to the reporters, this was for the first time for the woman to be appointed to be in this position, see, under secretary of the Synod of Bishops, which gives assurance that women are well represented. And don't you think that the youth, they didn't talk about youth? Don't you think it is a gap in the church that you were not part of the synod, the current synod?
I think really it's a big gap, because when you look at right now in the church, it seems that only the adults are participating in the church activities. And most times, you see, when these adults, when they go out, it is youth who are going to take over from them. So the youth, as you see that in every country, the driving force of the economy and everything is the youth. So the church, I think, should also look towards the youth, because in future, there are people who are also going to handle the church. So I think most of the decision that is made in the church should be focused more on the youth. Because if you don't catch them when they are young, I think you will lose them, and you will lose them forever. Because if you don't catch them when they are young, it is very difficult to go into them when they are already adults.
Yeah, the current, there are a lot of, actually, many issues that the society is facing currently. I hope these issues were covered in the synod, but Jennifer is going to take us through.
When you say the youth were left out, what do you mean? When you say the youth were left out, maybe you can tell us what you mean. Does it mean they were never approached to know the problems they have and answer all those questions that were given out?
Celestine, do you agree with me that they were left out, youth?
I think it depends with the parish, because you find...
actually, looking at the current synod, which is taking place in Italy, in Rome, yeah, they only talked about women. Women are represented. They talked about lay people in general, but they never mentioned youth. They didn't just put a particular attention to youth.
I don't think it is by mistake or by accident, because within the youth, of course, youth is the age bracket, isn't it? So within the youth, we have the women and the men. So I don't think it is by accident that maybe they didn't mention the real word youth, but I think the youth are there and they are represented, but they are represented maybe in a different context, not as the youth. This is what I think.
Celestine, they say that according to today's reports, that 27 actually among the 464 participants, 96 are not bishops, and 54 are women, and 27% of the total number of participants are now fully allowed they have full rights to vote. So do you think that among those 27%, those ones who are fully allowed to vote, will they be able to talk on behalf of the youth?
Actually, when you look at it, I think the synod movement just came into the picture in the convention that Pope Francis had, that is in 2021. But when you look at it, synod has been there ever since in the early church. But I think in some areas it wasn't factored in. So because of this movement that convened October, I think 21st in 2021, when Cardinal, not Cardinal, but the Pope had this meeting, and then we started the 2021 to 2024 movement. I think that's the time now most people came to know, like, there's something in the church that exists as synod. There is synodal solidarity movement. But when you look at it in the reforms of the church, this thing has been there ever since, but it was mostly in the Eastern churches. So you find, like, some countries it was left out, and that's why you find, like, right now most lay people are coming to understand what is synod. And that's why you find, if you get a parish that was so involved, the priests were going deep down to consult each and every group in the church, and there was an activity, because we need to understand, like, this movement has been there ever since some years ago, but it came to, I think people got more knowledge from 2021 after the convention, when now Pope Francis came and said we are going to have a synodal movement between 2021 to 2024, and like right now the bishops and the cardinals are gathered for the synodal solidarity, and this is to empower, like, this month of October is a month of Mother Mary, is the month of Rosary, and it's very important for the church, because when we talk about synod, we talk about the journey of faith. Synod itself means together traveling or together journeying. So what kind of journey are we talking about here? Is the journey of faith, traveling together in faith, and now bringing people together to journey together. Lay people have become like decision makers in what's happening in the church with the reforms of the synod. rather than before we will just get directives. So like women being involved right now, not nuns but women in general, shows that now the church is accepting opinion and even being allowed to vote, which wasn't there before, shows there is a lot of reform. And the synod movement is reforming the church, and now everybody is feeling accepted, and my opinion can be heard. As a lay person, I can now have a decision, because it's a journey of faith. So if it's a journey of faith, it's not only for the bishops, it's not only for cardinals, it's not only for the priests, but it involves the sheep, and we are the sheep, the congregants. So if we do not take part in this, it's very hard. So I think the movement is something that is amazing, and people being given the opportunity and the chance to vote shows that everybody has a voice in the church. Yeah, everybody has a voice in the church. I can give my opinion and my voice can be heard.
Yes, Jennifer, everybody has a voice in the church. In your responsibilities and how you implemented your maybe action plan for your laws and responsibilities as the chairperson of the commission in charge of the synod, how did you make sure that no one is left behind?
We sat down, of course, with the parish priest, and we did a list, an identification, and we made sure that this list was so exhaustive. We had 25 groups of different kinds of people within the church, and we made sure that each category or each group is contacted and they gave their feedback. They also had their time of having meetings. So it was a process, a journey. I said that it took almost a year. So we made sure that every single part of the church population was not left out. And we made sure that in those particular groups, they also met among themselves to discuss the questionnaires, the questions that had been provided, and make sure that their voices will reach where they are intended to be. Yes.
So if it is not confidential, can you share with us some of the questions you discussed, if it is not confidential?
There are so many questions. It was quite a number of questions, but one of them was like, how do you see the church today? And what are the obstacles that are affecting people from, or making people run out of the Catholic Church? And then there were also some parts that were affecting families. There were some parts that was affecting the, of course, the opinion. What do you think should be the changes, major changes that the Catholic Church can put in place? And of course, also to understand whether people understand actually the church. So there were so many different categories of questions, and also what I can say is that we tried to translate, because I think the original version of the questionnaires were in English, then French, then Kinyarwanda. Of course, maybe some elements were left out within the, but that is the main. There were quite a number of questions, and those that want to check if people understand their church. Two, what are how do they see the church currently? What are the changes that they would want to see in future in the church? And to me, I think it was really a timely thing to do within our church, looking at how the trend of religion and how things are moving around the world.
Onwike, if let's say if you are invited in this synod of bishops, what would you suggest? What is the church you want to see tomorrow?
Okay, if I'm invited, what I could project more is youth participation, because I'm a youth. When I was growing up as a kid, my parents made sure that almost everything that is done in the church, that we are part of it. Okay, from where I come from in Nigeria, normally how it's being done is that when you are a kid, after receiving the first Holy Communion, there are 3 organizations within the church in my own part of the country. So number 1, we used to have what is called the Catholic Boys Organization and the Catholic Girls Organization. After that, we have a Catholic Men Organization and Catholic Women Organization. So these kind of organizations, what they do is that they help to bring different populations of the church. They help to keep them together. Like for the Catholic Boys Association and Girls, once you have received the first Holy Communion, you automatically will join the Catholic Boys or Catholic Girls Organization. Then, once you get married, they are going to have a send forth from Catholic Boys or Catholic Girls. Then you join the Catholic Women Organization or Catholic Men Organization. So, from right after baptism, the church still holds you like this. So, from getting up from being a child, you go into being an adolescent. From adolescent, you go into being a youth. From that, you go into being a married couple, or maybe if you get a chance to be ordained a sister, a reverend father, or a reverend brother. So that is, if I'm involved in this synod, I will try to make sure that youths are represented well in the church. Because just like in Europe, sometimes when you watch the television where they are celebrating masses, you see that most times it's only adults that you see in the church. Old people are there in the church, which means when these people die, who are you going to see in the church? Catholic Church will be left empty. Yes. So I think that youth should be held together in order to, because Catholic Church has to continue. Without the youth, without the kids, it means that once the old people go away, then the church will be left empty.
But it's very true. We have so many churches in the Europe that have been closed down because there are no members anymore. And you find even their countries, like the last ordination they had was 30 years ago. And you find even some dioceses are working with the African dioceses to transport priests to go and support the Christians there. So I really support your point whereby you're saying that the youths need to be involved. Yeah, it's not easy to deal with youths though. It's not easy to deal with youths though, but if we can have an opportunity of inviting them and letting them and getting them involved in the activities around them, it will be very instrumental for the church, because their countries, surely when you look at it, it's very painful that a country had their last ordination 30 years ago. So the priests there are old, and it is very true. And not only even in European country, I attend mass in the morning, and sometimes it surprises me in the morning because the people, the majority of the number of people who attend the morning mass are the old people. Not the young. So where are the young people?
Yeah, actually more emphasis should be put on the youth, because of course they are the future leaders of the church, they are the future Christians that we have. I think I agree with our brother here that much emphasis should be put on the youth. Yes.
But Celestine, what do you think, as just a journalist, what do you think might be the reason behind this, seeing the old people in the first mass? What might be the reason behind that? Because we are all, youth are rebaptized.
Yes.
Yeah, they are invited. We are all invited to go to mass.
One thing is what we need to find out is where are the youths in the church. And growing up, yes, as a youth, as an adult, there are a lot of phases that we go through. And you know, when we talk about youth, we talk about the age between 18 to 35, right? And this is the time whereby you find they are growing, they suffer from identity crisis, they are trying to identify who they are in the society. And most of the time, they might be misjudged or misinterpreted. And this is what makes them run away, because this is the time they are exploring life. They want to identify, who am I in this society? Like if I'm called Godwin, who is God doing? Because you see, your father and mother have played a role, maybe take you to school through, but then there is a stage in life whereby it's you to figure out life, like what do I want to become? Because maybe your parents wanted you to become a doctor, but that's not what, at some point you realize, oh, yeah, my dream was to become a priest, but no, I can't be a priest. I want to be something else. So during this period of crisis, identity crisis, they're trying to recognize and to identify who they are. A lot changes in them. This is the time you find young boys piercing their ears, they have dreadlocks, they want to explore everything around them. And now you see, for us adults, we will look at it like, this one is becoming a thug. This one is becoming this. You cannot go to the church of God with those earrings. You cannot. We start telling them, and then they feel like whatever they are doing is not that they are doing it in a bad way or to make them look like, yeah, we are the thugs or we are this. But it's a generation. At that point, they're trying to explore life to know who they are. So you find if at all the church doesn't accept them the way they are and try to form a family and give them what they want, they'll turn away, because even parents at home will be like, I cannot go with you to church with such kind of hairstyle. Go to the barber shop and shave your hair. And this young man looks at it and is like, what does it mean? I want to maintain this. And some, it's due to peer pressure. They want to belong to a community. They want to belong to a society. And this society requires him to match up with the other boys or the other girls. She has to do some things. But you see, as a parent, the church is like a parent. You'll be like, no, 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 no. My daughter cannot do this at home. And then what happens is she becomes rebellious. Mm-hmm. And they turn against parents. And that's the time they defect even from the church. So the first thing that the church should learn is, maybe we learn what do they really need, and how can we help them, and how can we support them in a good way that they might grow, knowing, okay, it's okay to keep your dreadlocks. The most important thing is keeping your relationship with God and trying to live a life of prayerful and a life that pleases God. The rest. But you see, when we become judgmental to the youth at that point, especially between 18 to 30, we lose them. And that's why you find even parents at home are having conflicts with their children, because these are people who are trying to explore. They've gone to the university. That's the time they're out of the home. They're going to learn different, because the university brings all people from different races, from different countries, from different areas, and now they start learning from one another. Mm-hmm. And if mishandled, that's where we lose the youth. So I think it's something that
I think to add on what she's saying, mm-hmm. there is also the element of modernization, mm-hmm. that our church is still, I should say, the traditional style. And of course, we have technology that is around. Mm. The youth are able to see whatever is happening all around the world. Mm-hmm. So you will realize that most of our youth are going to these other born again churches, because they are more lively. They have the music they want. They can relate with, mm-hmm. and I think that is also one factor, and also. Seeing what is, because we tend to copy the West. If the West has modernized enough to find that others have even become atheists, they don't believe that God exists. Mm-hmm. So because of that access to information, mm-hmm. Some information is making our youth lose the faith in the church. Mm-hmm. When we were growing up, there was no telephone, there was no internet. So all you knew was your church in the neighborhood. Yeah. The most important person in the village is the priest, exactly. And your parents. So you didn't have that toxic information that is coming left, right, and center. So there is also that element of technology and the world becoming one global village, and also the vibration that we lack in our church, that is elsewhere, that where the youth can easily relate with. I think that is also one of the factors that makes the church empty very early in the morning.
Yes, like Celestine said, actually, this is the case which may experience in Europe, mostly in Europe. Jennifer, as a chairperson, I know being a chairperson is not so easy. It is not an easy task.
Yes.
So what was the burning issue the first time you heard that you were going to be a chairperson of this commission? Was there a burning issue that you said, oh my goodness, I have to tackle this one?
Yes, there was one burning issue. There is that the strictness, that is one element that kept coming, because you realize that the Catholic Church is very, very strict. There is no flexibility. For instance, they can't baptize a child who is born of parents who are not wedded, even if they are together. But if you don't baptize this child, don't you think you are denying this child access or to know God? In any case, you are chasing him away. To me, I think this child should be embraced and be nurtured to become a good Christian. But if you say, oh, if you don't have your baptism card, we are not going to baptize you. If you don't have, you know, some people are not even wedded because they lost their baptism cards. So that's strictness, and also the vibe for the youth, that we still have that traditional way of handling mass, and yet the world is changing. There are so many things that are going on, but we are not moving with the speed at which the world is changing. So to me, it was a timely thing that Christians bring up all those issues that they think the church should adjust or change, at least to embrace and not make people run away from the church. So those are I think the two. And also there was this issue of priests, because I think some people were saying, oh, our priests, they sometimes they go here and there. They were not bringing it. It was even actually challenged. Should we write it or we don't write it? Our priests involved in other social things outside of the church. So it was, we wrote it, but
you're not sure whether it will reach
whether it will reach or not, or whether it will reach the Pope's table, but we brought it up because it was an element that came up. Yes.
So that's good. Do you think this synodality will help to solve this problem?
Which problem?
This one, we said about this number, which is decreasing the number of youth in the church.
Yes.
And even this, you just mentioned.
It is our hope, of course. That is why that's why I'm saying that it was timely. It is our hope, and we don't think that it was a waste of time for these questions to come up, and for allowing the lay Christians to express their ideas and their thoughts of how the church, the future church should look like. I don't think it was a waste of time. So we have hope that there is some things and major changes are going to take place after the synod. Yes.
You said that some of the groups you targeted, some of them were prostitutes.
Yes.
Why did you choose them?
Because, of course, the church is not there for only holy people. It's there for the sinners. So we felt we should know why they are into prostitution. What can we do to bring them back to God as a lost sheep? And it was really important that we understand the issues they have. Why are they going into those kind of behaviors? What can we do to bring them up, to bring them back to be Christ-like? So I think it was a good idea that we tackle all parts of the church. Yes, even the sinners, even the non-sinners, like that, yes.
Actually, that is living the gospel, because exactly that's what Jesus did.
Sure.
And all the time Jesus said that I didn't come for the people who are good, but I came for the sick.
Yes.
And who are the sick? And if you look even at the disciples of Jesus and the apostles of Jesus, most of them were people who were transformed from their different wicked ways of doing things. You remember even the story of Zacchaeus, when he was on the sycamore tree and Jesus said, Zacchaeus, come down, for today I'm going to dine in your house. The first reaction from people was, how can Jesus go into a sinful man's house? Because they judged him like he's a tax collector, therefore he's a thief. He's a thief. But then Jesus said, these are the people. And even if we relate with last Sunday's gospel, the last 2 Sundays actually, the other one, it was about the vineyard, and some came in the morning, some came in the afternoon, some came in the evening, but they were all given the same denarii. And when you look at last Sunday, it was about Jesus asking, Jesus gave a parable, a father asking the son, go and work in the farm. The first one said, I'll go, but didn't go, but later on repented and went and worked. The second son, when he was asked, said, I will go, but didn't go. And Jesus in context said, that's why you find sinners are inheriting the kingdom of heaven, and those who are saved way before are losing it. So reaching out to everybody in the society, because like she has mentioned the prostitutes, even in the Bible they were there. Remember the woman who was brought to Jesus, and they were like, she's a prostitute, and Jesus told them, if you have never committed sin, be the first one to cast a stone. And nobody could. And when the woman raised up her head, she found she was only left with Jesus there. Everybody else had departed. So they are very important people in the society. And Jesus considered prostitutes as very important. Remember Mary Magdalene? She was a prostitute, but when she had Jesus, she came with the most expensive perfume. Even the disciples of Jesus were like, she's wasting that perfume. But for her, she was pouring on the feet of Jesus. So, yeah. So, I think what the church did is very important, because if you're talking about the reforms in the church, everybody should be involved, no matter who they are, because you will find these are our daughters and sons. Maybe one reason or the other, they find themselves on the streets. You understand? So reaching the gospel, because Jesus said, I didn't come for the well. And also the people who are not sick can never go looking for a physician, but the sick go looking for the physician. So our work is evangelization, and as synod itself means journeying together. Let's journey together, bring a brother, bring a sister back to the church, because people are leaving the church. And I think synod movement is something that is amazing, because it was bringing everybody back to church, because we were being asked for opinion. So when we give our opinion, be it the youth, be it the prostitute, be it that woman, be it the single mothers, be it what, it was bringing them back together, and they're like, oh, they're asking for my opinion, so I should go back to church. Yeah, and walk together this journey. And last year I was in Uganda, and we attended mass somewhere. They have even a slogan, actually, about synod. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like every church, every parish has its own way of doing it. In other parishes, like Kagugo, I go there every morning. You find after the Thanksgiving song, they have the synod prayer that they recite so amazingly. You understand? So it is bringing us together. It's a journey that is bringing us together in faith. So I think reaching out to as many people as we can will help the church grow, and everybody else will feel accepted, and their voices can be heard. So I think it's one amazing and awesome movement that should keep on, that everybody's heard. Yeah.
Jennifer, after this synod, the church is expected to, we are expected to move together, like she's saying.
Yes.
Again, I'm still insisting on the approach you used to select, to make sure that no one is left behind. You are in the town, in the city. We have Marines, motor drivers. They've got their own issues. We have the street traders. We have street children. Even though these days we no longer say street children. So which approach did you use, the strategy you employed?
To reach each one?
Yes.
What
Because a church is a parent for all of them.
what we did was to get because if you see how our society is structured, we have everyone belongs somewhere. Like for instance, let me give an example of the business community, because we reached those ones as well. We had the politicians, we had the motorcyclists, as I said. So all of them belong to a certain group. If I can talk of business people, they have the private sector federation. If we can talk of the motorcyclists, they belong to a certain association or a certain group. And if you talk of of course, the families, they also have a unit where they belong to as families in the church. So we went to those individual heads, and then it was through those ones that now we gave them a task to go and collect and look for their members. And then from their members, we made sure that we gave them time to have meetings, because it is not something that you would sit down and do in one day. It was a series of meetings. They meet, they discuss, they meet, they discuss, until now they make the final report, and then the report goes to the next level until now it reaches the parish level, and it was now asked to consolidate all those reports. But then ours was more of a supervisory role, make sure that we reach out to those people, we give them the questionnaires, we make sure the meetings are attended as per how the plan was, because everything was planned way from the beginning, how the meetings should be, how to conduct the prayers she's talking about. It was already a designed prayer, a novena that we would pray before starting those meetings. So we made sure that we go through those structures to make sure that each and every individual at the lowest level possible was reached. Yes.
Super. Godwin.
Yes.
Earlier you said that you gave us an image of the church, Catholic Church you want to see in the future. But if we were asked to, Jennifer said that one of the things she wants the church to change is this such strictness. For you as a youth, you are a youth representative now. So what would you see the church changing?
There are quite a number of them that the church could look into to change. Just like the first of all, there are many activities that the church need to include, or maybe because a Catholic church is like a traditional church that they have like only one pattern they use to do things, and they follow it strictly. So just like in many parts of the world, like in many Catholic churches, youths are being involved. Just like in Nigeria, we have like a choir by the side, we have another band, the normal life band by the side. So this group, they participate in church hand in hand. So either you belong to the choir or you belong to the band. So that, especially that band, is one of the things that brings youth together. That is number one. Another thing is that the church should include many activities. In my own part of in Nigeria, in my part of the country, the church has something like called like concerts. And this concert is organized based on, as I told you before, according to organization, maybe Catholic Boys Organization and the Catholic Girls Organization. So these concerts are organized. They make concert. At the end, the winners are going to be sponsored, are given different kind of gifts. Even there could be a different kind of sports events, like football. Maybe this parish, or maybe let's say Regina PACIS and the Saint Michel or Saint Family, the Catholic girls from Regina PACIS plays match of volleyball or any sport of their choice with other parishes. So they just use these kind of things to bring you together. And normally, any activity in the church, before it is done, it begins or ends with the Holy Mass. So everything still should be done within the activity of the Catholic Church. So it's not that anything will be done outside the Catholic Church, but they organize it accordingly with the activities done in the Catholic Church. So that is what I think that the Catholic Church can use to bring youth together, especially in this part of the country, because like in Nigeria, it's not like something very big like youth are not in the church. They are there because they have things that you can use to hold them together. Yes.
Like the band.
Yes.
The concert.
Yes,
The
concert.
concert. Interesting. I think I was wondering which problems are meant to be sent to synods and which ones are not supposed to be sent to synod for the bishops or the cardinals to discuss them. Because I think something like bringing a band or bringing a concert in the church is something that can be handled at parish level, right, Jennifer?
Yes. To me, I think everything should be sent because sometimes they can be there in their comfort zone and they don't know exactly what is happening to the Christians out there. So to me, they should receive everything because it is through those responses from Christians that they will understand, they will exactly understand what is happening with the Christians out there. Otherwise, if you bring some things and you leave out some things, the decisions that will be taken will not be sustainable. Otherwise, you'll find that the most important or key issues of the Christians are not brought out in the open. So they should see or read each and everything, and then from there, from whatever has come from the Christians, then it will guide the decisions that will come from this synod. So everything should go.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think also it depends with because it's not only involving Rwanda, it's a countrywide movement, no, worldwide. Sorry, it's a worldwide movement. So I think everything should go according to the need of the country and the weakness. Because what Rwandan churches are suffering right now is not what Tanzanian churches are suffering or facing the difficulties. Because you find we have so many different difficulties and challenges that are being faced in the church. Because there's Catholic churches that have been affected immensely in different countries. You find like right now, like he's mentioning Nigeria, but I know there's part of Nigeria that Christians are not allowed to gather and worship. Exactly. It's like a Muslim dominated area. So you will find what challenges they are facing there as totally different from the challenges the church in Rwanda is facing. So based on the difficulties and challenges that the church is facing in each and every country, the voices should be heard. Rwanda, maybe we are crying about youths, or we are crying about women being more active in the church, or we are crying about this and that, the rigidity in the church. You understand? So if we give opinion, like I like the idea, yeah, we are traditional church and we really love our church because that's what makes us Catholics, and that's what we are proud of. I'm a proud Catholic, but you find like this is a parent, maybe at the time they got married, they didn't have all the finances to do things the right way, but now an innocent child is born here. And us denying this child the sacrament, it's really bad. Yeah, it's really bad.
And yet we believe that creation is made by God.
Yeah. So I think some of these things the church should be a little bit lenient and soft about it and see the best way to help, because I've seen whereby parents get discouraged and they leave the church because they feel like we are not accepted here. If our child cannot be baptized or given the sacraments, and maybe due to their own reasons, that's why they have not. Of course, we are not advocating for cohabiting. We are not advocating
for marriages that are not blessed in the church, because the church does not recognize any marriage that the wedding has not taken place in the church. Others are just actually, if you're living like that, you're committing adultery,
Of course.
yeah, and fornication, yeah. But if they have the desire, wanting their child to receive the sacrament, I think the church should be lenient about it. So these problems that should go, I think it depends with each and every country, the challenges and the difficulty that these countries are facing. So whatever issue that Rwanda raises should be considered. How much is it affecting the church? Because journeying in faith, we want everybody to walk together. Because what is faith? If you're walking alone, journeying alone, then it won't make any sense. But if it's a movement, we want everybody to be involved, then our voices should be heard.
And by the way, we were not even supposed to sieve or to remove certain things. No, we were sending raw data. That means
this is very important.
It is very important that you should know that whatever information we got was sent as it is.
Okay, good.
Yes.
This is it. Interesting.
Yes.
I think based on what she said, and because synod, as you know, there are 3 different types of synod. So like what he said, we have ordinary synod, which is the General Assembly, what we're having right now.
Yes.
We have extraordinary assembly, and they have a special assembly. Yeah. So I think those kind of issues that affect mainly only one part of the church or one part of the country can be handled as a special assembly. Just like in Nigeria, there is a diocese that over 2 decades, there is no bishop covering them. Because the people there, the priests there, they say they want their own son, like someone from that place to be their bishop. So anyone the Pope send from any other part of the country, they refuse it. For over 2 decades, there is no bishop in that, and no ordination has been going on in that diocese. So this kind of thing can be considered as special assembly to address those kind of problems.
Yes, thank you so much for bringing this, because we have another example of this special synods for church. The recent one actually was in 1997. It was in America. Yeah, they said that there are also special synods for a church in a specific geographic area. So they gave us an example of this one, which took place from November 16th to December 12th. In 1997 in America.
Actually, when you read more history about synod, it says that the diocesan suggested to have the synodal meeting annually, and then the provincial. You know, when we talk about the diocesan and provincial is after every 3 years. And I think like the movement we are having right now, because it started in 2021, it's like a provincial movement, synodal movement. So annually, diocesan, like you know, we have different congregations in the church. So you might find the province, like let's use the missionaries of Africa. They are provincial. The province of East Africa caters for Rwanda, Burundi, Kenya. It covers like more than 3 countries. So that's provincial. Then diocesan is being considered like a country. Though now when you come into Rwanda, we have 8 dioceses here. Now diocesan, you know, if we keep up that, every voice will be heard. Because now we sit down as Rwanda, as a country, what are the challenges we're facing in the church? And this year, how has the numbers? I remember even taking data in the church is very important, because we get to know how many members do we have, and how many members have increased in the church, and how many members have dropped out of the church, and what made them drop out, and what made this other new group come into the church. Because this will help even the priest better to know how to serve the community and how to take care of the congregants. So I think everything is very important, and this movement is one key to our faith. And like this congregation that is the convention that is taking place right now in Italy, it's because the main theme is this is the month of Mother Mary. So we want Mother Mary to intercede for us to walk this journey, the synodal journey. You understand? So I think even diocesan and parishes, you should be encouraged. Yeah, like I loved one of the slogans I've just remembered in Uganda. They were saying, the priest would say, walking together, and the congregants would respond in the guidance of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you so much. With this, we come to the end of our conversation. But before I hand over the mic, remember that 1.3 billion of Catholics across the globe participated in this synodal journey. What will happen if your view, if your expectations, if my expectation, their expectations are not met? What will happen? We are at the end of our show. Please, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
For me, I think I have faith that maybe not all, but most of the expectations will be attended to. And if, let's say, it has not been attended, because, you know, when change is coming, it's a process.
Yeah.
Even this, we thank God that they thought about it. You can see women participating in that meeting, and you in big numbers, not even a small number, because 56 is not a small number. So in big numbers. So if we've seen even earlier on that at some point women were not allowed to vote, but now they can vote. Women could not take leadership in important positions, but now they can do it. So even this one, to me, I think the time has come. This is the time. It is due for changes to take place. And the fact that this initiative was taken, and you can see what time it has taken, the amount of investment, the amount of time, the amount of participation, it cannot just go like that. Much as we don't expect 100% issues to be addressed, but most of them will be attended to, and we have faith that they will be attended to. And if it doesn't happen, if it happens that doesn't happen now, in future, there is always a future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you will still be a proud Catholic?
Definitely.
Yes. Good.
Yes.
Mr. Godwin, 464 are participating now, but only 27% will vote on our behalf because they are lay people.
Yes.
Okay.
So what will happen if what you feel will happen don't happen? What will happen after?
I think because this synod is because it's done with the guidance of the Holy Spirit, I believe that what we are discussing in this synod, and why is that I believe that it will happen, because women are so powerful that whatever they go, you can see in our families, women, they are driving force of every change in the society. I have a very strong confidence that since they are involved, that things will begin to change, and whatever we have tried to discuss will come to fulfillment. Yes, I don't have any negative intention that maybe something will not happen or something will not change. I believe that there will be change, and positively, for our own good.
Okay, positive.
Yes.
1 second.
Yeah, I'm very positive, and even if it doesn't happen right now, I've seen people being honored for things they did even after their death. Their legacy lives. So even if it's not considered right now, I will not change to be somebody else. I'm a proud Catholic, and I will keep on interceding and praying, and I know that Mother Mary is there listening to our prayers. So even if it doesn't happen right now, it might happen in some years to come, and people will look back and say, these people advocated for this. So we can be historians in the making, even if we don't live it right now. We have a lot of historians, we celebrate them today, but their achievements were discovered later after their death. So we are praying and having faith that everything shall be fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. With this, we come to the end. So if something doesn't happen today, tomorrow may happen. So this synodality is a good starting point. All we are requested to do is to move together. We for the synodal church. Allow me to thank Jennifer Ingabire. Thanks so much for your time.
Pleasure is all mine.
Yes. Godwin Onwike. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you. I wish I'll be back.
All right. Yeah.
Sure.
And my host, Celestine Aola. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Without you, I'm not sure that this
It will hold. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I also take this time to thank you for taking time to watch my home show. I hope you enjoyed the show. Stay blessed. See you next time.
As things progress, man needs to change. Change in the right direction. Spreading the love of Christ. Sharing a message of peace in all nations.